To really understand Don Martin's legacy, we first need to understand a little bit about who Lester Horton was. I'm going to take you back a little bit, so get comfortable. In the 1940s, Don graduated from high school in South Los Angeles alongside his pal, Alvin Ailey. At that time, a famous Hollywood choreographer named Lester Horton had just opened a place called Dance Theater. A small studio on Melrose Avenue in Hollywood, Dance Theater was a home for artists. Alvin's good friend Carmen de Lavalade was one of the first to take classes at Horton's Dance Theater. And on one fine day, Alvin took Don to observe Carmen taking class. Don was immediately mesmerized, and soon, Don, Carmen, and Alvin began taking classes at Dance Theater together. Showing much talent and promise, eventually all of them were invited to join Horton's Dance Theater as company members, becoming known the Horton Dancers. Now, for Lester Horton, it was very important to have well-rounded dancers. He himself had cultivated a very dynamic background in the arts and theater production. Yes, his dancers had to be wonderful and move well, but he also wanted to teach them how to take a creative concept and develop it on their own. Opportunities to learn world art history, music composition, theatrical makeup, mask making, costuming, and set design were all courses available at Horton's Dance Theater. The truth is, no one could afford to be idle, so everyone participated. Soon, Don became a primary teacher and trusted asset for Horton and his theater. Working alongside Horton in this way was amazing for Don. It brought him a deep sense of fulfillment, and he had found his element. His devotion to dance and to Lester Horton were sealed forevermore. Don would later tell me, "I guess Lester Horton saw something in me that I couldn't see myself. He had a gift that way," end quote. This gift for seeing talents and hidden potentials would later become Don Martin's own hallmark as he navigated through the years of teaching and coaching students. In 1953, Lester Horton sadly and unexpectedly suffered a massive heart attack and died. His dance theater closed, and the Horton dancers, with heavy hearts, dispersed and began creating art elsewhere. 5 years later, in 1958, Don Martin moved to New York City. There he joined his friends Alvin's new company, the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, and began as original founding member. Presenting and celebrating Black culture through dance, Alvin took his company on tour throughout the US and worldwide, earning him and his dancers great acclaim. Although Don had much success with Alvin, eventually he was moved to say goodbye. During 2020, as I sat talking with Don, he would tell me how he felt he lacked a certain confidence to continue dancing with Ailey. He said, "I just didn't feel like I had what it took to do it anymore, so I stopped." Ailey would go on to become a world-famous dance icon, infusing Horton's technique into his choreographers, teaching a version of Horton's classes at the Ailey School, and making Horton's name synonymous with the Alvin Ailey brand. Having left Ailey in New York, Don was on to the next thing, fashion. As a young boy, Don loved and cherished his mother, Thelma Hughes Martin. Thelma worked as a seamstress, and no doubt her skills influenced Don's appreciation for design while growing up. Don would say, "Mother was humble and quite good with a needle and thread," end quote. This early exposure to sewing and garment construction from her, coupled with the immersion in costume design at Lester Horton's Dance Theater, made him a perfect fit for the ever-changing and creative world of fashion. Finished with Alien back in LA, Don began working with a man by the name of Guy Greengard. Guy owned and operated Mr. Guy, a luxury men's clothing store on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. Becoming one of the head buyers for Mr. Guy's and spending significant time shopping abroad for a wide roster of Hollywood celebrities and elite, Don Martin thrived in this world of luxury and elegance. If you know Don. Although Don had changed course, he was now working in the world of fashion. His devotion to Lester Horton was unwavered. Throughout the years, Don would continue to teach whenever he could, gaining visibility as a Horton authority. In 1996, Don came into alignment with the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. The library wanted to archive the life of Lester Horton, and they asked for Don's help. Don, along with bringing a trove of original Lester Horton Dance Theater photos, designs, memorabilia, he also brought the most precious thing of all, his memories and recollections of Horton's ballets. In 1996, at the Library of Congress, Don spent 3 months in D.C., cataloging Horton's archives and teaching Horton technique to the dancers in the area. He was also given the immense opportunity to stage 3 of Lester Horton's most important ballets, The Beloved, Touch of Plea, and Dedication to Jose Clemente Orozco. This was an important moment for Don. He was gathering the dance world's attention and being recognized as Lester Horton's heir, the singular custodian of Horton's work and technique. A few years later, in 2000, Don was asked to teach a Horton dance workshop at LAXA. He was so well received and respected that the dance department asked him to stay on as a permanent teacher. Now, I was one of Don's first students at LAXA. He stole our hearts with his sarcasm and his affinity for teaching. He was a stickler for quality and set the bar very high for every dancer, no matter their interest in taking his classes or not. He saw everyone's talent and he tortured us until he got the desired outcome he knew we each had within us. Sayings like, "Keep it simple, stupid," and "Love is a 4-letter word like you know what," often rang through the studio air during his classes, and he lovingly became known as Mr. Martin. Bringing the legacy of Lester Horton to life at LAXA and creating his own collection of masterpieces there, Mr. Martin became our living legend. When Don was asked if he thought that Lester Horton would be surprised to know that it was him who would become the guardian of his legacy, he smiled and said, "No. I think somehow he knew. I think this was his plan for me." LAXA was the final frontier for Don. And very much like his mentor, Lester Horton, he spent the last chapter of his life pouring his gifts into the hearts of students, inspiring and being inspired by the dancers around him. Creating a scholarship in Don Martin's name, performing his work, and remembering him in our thoughts keeps his spirit alive. Giving to others is just what he did. May this scholarship that was created in his name serve as a reminder of how vital it is to lift others up whenever we can. Because in lifting others up, we lift ourselves